Good day to you and Happy New Year. I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. Brought to you by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the Special District Association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or any type of organization or just a supportive individual, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners for video segments run on the channel. This is the Monday program for January 4th, 2021, DCTV Daily News. This is the first Monday of the new year and the meme online that shows an old worn-out 2020 handing the staff over to the baby 2021, and he's saying, "Here, hold my beer." That may be more likely than not a reflection that this year is setting up to be a doozy. I'll work hard to bring you a cross-sampling of what's happening in general, statewide, and of course, most importantly, locally. Hang on, there may be some interesting news ahead. With that said, Colorado State has some law changes that went into effect on the 1st. And for your edification, and perhaps something might apply to you, here they are reported in the Denver Channel online. First off, equal pay for equal work. Employers will face new requirements January 1st when it comes to posting job opening and promotions that are available within a company. SB 19-085 was signed into law in 2019 and is aimed at preventing wage discrimination between employees for performing the same duties. Quote, that's really what the bill is getting at, is to make sure that things are an equal playing field no matter what gender you are, said Representative Serena Gonzalez Gutierrez, Democrat from Denver, one of the bill's co-sponsors. The new law requires employers to post a salary range with the job opening so applicants can know right away how much they would earn. It also requires employers to post about promotion opportunities within the company so that employees have a chance to apply. Quote, it also has provisions that don't allow for any kind of retaliation for employees when they discuss their pay. I think that's been kind of an unsaid thing, that you don't talk about how much you make, Gonzalez Gutierrez said. Beyond that, the new law prohibits employers from asking an applicant about their salary history. Gonzalez Gutierrez says this prior practice could result in employees being compensated less based on what they were making before rather than the salary the job is worth. Employers were given a year before the law kicked in to make sure their pay, hiring, and promotion practices are in compliance. Also, more laws for employers to deal with in 21 regarding sick leave. A second bill that kicks in January 1st requires employers to offer 48 hours of paid sick leave for employees. SB 2205 stemmed from the COVID-19 pandemic and allows employees to begin accruing paid sick leave as soon as their employment begins. That sick leave can then be carried forwards in subsequent calendar years up to 48 hours. What we've built is a culture of coming to work sick because people have to choose between coming to work sick or paying the rent, said Representative Matt Gray, Democrat from Broomfield. We are working to try to create a culture of letting people be home when they are sick. Employees will be able to use the sick leave for a mental or physical illness, to care for a sick family member, for instances of domestic abuse or assault, or in instances where a child's school has been closed. It also prohibits employers from retaliating against an employee for using that sick leave. And up next is the unemployment insurance. Another new law that came out of the COVID pandemic expands the qualifications for who can apply for unemployment insurance. SB 2207 allows 3 additional groups of people to apply for unemployment relief. Employees who are immunocompromised and who do not feel that they can continue to work safely can apply. Employees who are primary caregivers for children whose school was shut down due to the pandemic and who need to stay home to be with them can also apply. And employees whose workplace is not following COVID safety protocols and who feel that they cannot work safely can also apply for unemployment relief under this new law. Along with offering more unemployment options for employees, the new law also removes the cap on the amount of money that can be paid into the Employment Support Fund and prohibits the division from assessing solvency surcharges for the 21-22 calendar years. Another new law that will go into effect on January 1st, that was Friday, prohibits landlords from asking a tenant about their citizenship status. Once again, it's Gonzalez Gutierrez involved. She says SB 2224 stemmed from an incident where an immigrant who came to the U.S. as a child was asked about his immigration status and country of origin while filling out an application and was denied housing. The new law prohibits landlords from including the question on a housing application, but the new law does not get rid of credit checks for those seeking housing. And another new law that kicks off in the new year aims at making the enrollment process for health care coverage, particularly for people using Colorado's state exchange, easier to understand. HB 2012-36 creates an easy enrollment program to offer free or subsidized health care coverage for people who are uninsured. The goal was to make sure that we're covering as many people as possible with the tools that we already have in place, like Medicaid, said Representative Susan Lontine, Democrat from Denver, one of the bill's co-sponsors. The program allows people to request on their state tax returns for the Colorado Health Benefit Exchange to assess whether they are eligible for free or subsidized health insurance. The tax filer will also receive information about their coverage options. The new law also creates an Affordable Health Care Coverage Easy Enrollment Advisory Committee to help guide the implementation of this program. Although the new law goes into effect on January 1st, most won't see the benefits of it until after they file their 2020 taxes later this year. And finally, starting January 2nd, retail marijuana stores will be able to begin delivery if it has been approved in the local jurisdiction under HB 19-1234. Medical marijuana delivery began last year. And HB 2010-80 will take effect January 1st, eliminating the residency requirement for employee licenses regarding marijuana, as well as there is HB 201424, which provides the authority to establish a social equity program within the state's Marijuana Enforcement Division to increase the diversity of owner licenses and begin an accelerator program. Well, that'll be interesting to follow, and due to an increase in annual inflation, Colorado's minimum wage increased on January 1st. The minimum wage went from $12 an hour to $12.32 per hour. The 2.7% increase is because the Colorado Constitution mandates annual inflation adjustment based on the Consumer Price Index for Colorado, and the Consumer Price Index rose 2.7% over the past 12 months. And now let's take a look at the local weather for the week. Today, Monday, we had a few clouds early and some striping, as you can see in this picture. And we're looking for a sunny day overall, although the stripes may make it a little bit hazy later on. A high near 36 degrees with light east-northeast winds, 5 to 10 miles an hour, and becoming south-southwest in the morning. For tonight, partly cloudy and a low around 22, feeling a little bit milder after last week's low. For Tuesday, we're looking sunny and a high near 36, 37 with east winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming north-northwest. Tuesday night, mostly clear and a low down around 16. Colder with north-northeast winds around 10 miles an hour. Into Wednesday, we're looking for a sunny sky again with a high near 38 degrees with north-northeast winds around 10 miles an hour. Wednesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 19 or 18 or so. Thursday, partly sunny and a high near 38, 39 with Thursday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 20. And for Friday, mostly sunny with a high again around 38 or 39 degrees. Friday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 19 degrees. And into the weekend, expect mostly the same pattern. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 36 degrees. Saturday night, partly cloudy and a low around 16 or 15. Pretty nice week to start off the new year. Best wishes for success, health, and happiness in 2021. And now, back to our news. KDVR Denver reported on the swearing in of our two new federal representatives in Washington, D.C. for Colorado. Democrat John Hickenlooper and Republican Lauren Boebert were officially sworn in at the U.S. Capitol on Sunday. Hickenlooper took the oath of office to serve Colorado in the U.S. Senate, while Boebert joins the House representing Colorado's 3rd District, aka mostly the Western Slope. The challenges ahead are grave, but with hard work, common sense, and collaboration, we can move forward together and emerge from this pandemic more resilient, Hickenlooper said. We're excited to get to work and deliver for Coloradans in every corner of the state. Quote, I want to make sure that this remains the land of opportunity, the land of the free, Boebert said. She said, and that the American dream remains alive for my children and my children's children. They, along with the rest of the 117th Congress, will get together on Wednesday this week to count and certify the Electoral College votes of the 50 states. The states have all certified their votes, 306 currently for Joe Biden and 232 for President Donald Trump. But as a side note, there are indications that both members of the House and Senate plan to question the validity of the election vote counts in several of the contentious states, which, if this does successfully happen, there should be a review of the evidence, which has never been brought into a court of law or to the public since first revealing concerns last November. On the 6th, which is this Wednesday, it's typically a ceremonial task, but this year some Republican members of Congress, including Boebert, plan to challenge the state's votes. Quote, I spoke with the president just a few weeks ago in the Oval Office, and I encouraged him to continue to fight for the American people, to fight for election integrity until this election is actually over, Boebert said. Meanwhile, another Colorado Republican, Representative Ken Buck, who supports President Trump and his right to exhaust all legal options in regard to the election results, wrote a letter urging Congress not to challenge states' votes. Quote, there's no authority for Congress to make value judgments in the abstract regarding any state's election laws or the manner in which they have been implemented, Buck wrote. In part, quote, nor does Congress have discretion to disqualify electors based on its own findings that fraud occurred in the state's election. Congress has one job here to count electoral votes that have in fact been cast by any state as designated by those authorized to do so under state law, quote. That's what he says. And there is a march here on Washington in support of allowing the legal challenge to go forward to assure that all legal votes are accounted for, not just for this election cycle, but for the future of the American representative republic. Here in Dove Creek, Wednesday the 6th at 12 noon, there will be a Main Street drag with American flags to show support for fair and legal election process. Everyone is welcome to peacefully come out and show their support for the process of the United States of America voting and electoral process. And last year, on March 14th, Colorado's governor issued an executive order shutting down ski resorts across the state. The coronavirus had arrived and was spreading rapidly in small mountain communities that were attracting hordes of spring break revelers. The Sentinel Colorado Online reports the next day, the chairlifts and gondolas hanging idly overhead, a large group converged on Aspen Mountain, passed a closure sign, and, quote, skinned up the slopes under their own power to get in a few hard-earned turns. In the following weeks, skiers and snowboarders with nowhere else to go were increasingly lured by untouched powder of the backcountry. In the 9 weeks after resorts closed, 32 people were caught in avalanches, including 2 who were killed, according to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center. During the previous 4 months, 65 people were swept up in slides. Now, with another ski season getting underway, avalanche forecasters and search and rescue groups are concerned that large numbers of skiers and snowboarders will again turn to the backcountry to avoid crowds and reservation systems at resorts. Quote, pretty much everybody's worried about that, said Ethan Green, director of the Avalanche Center, which has already recorded 4 backcountry skier deaths in Colorado so far this winter. Quote, a lot of that is because of what we saw in the spring, and then definitely what search and rescue saw over the summer, which was a dramatic increase in search and rescue calls. The situation was similar in neighboring Utah, where avalanche forecasters recorded more than 100 human-triggered slides across the state from mid-March through the end of April last spring, including 50 during one 48-hour period. That according to Nikki Champion with the Utah Avalanche Center. Backcountry users increased tenfold during April and COVID in general. We've had a lot of new users traveling with techniques that kind of suggested that they haven't spent a lot of time in the backcountry, Champion said during a virtual forum in October that was organized by the trade association Snow Sports Industries America. Backcountry gear has been selling fast, the industry reports. The increased interest in the backcountry has been a lifeline for the outdoor retailer industry amid the pandemic, but it has also renewed a push among gear manufacturers and stores to sell responsibly. That could come in the form of recommending guide services, pointing customers to avalanche safety courses, and telling them where to find avalanche forecasts. In Colorado, there is an avalanche alert system to indicate which areas may be most likely to be susceptible to having avalanche danger in an educational manner to help keep skiers safe and lessen the number of rescues or recoveries needed this season. For details, go online to sign up for alerts on avalanche.state.co.us. And today's High Canyon Country happenings and notices. The Dolores County Sheriff's Office has issued an alert that mountain lion tracks have been spotted at 2 residences on 5th Street in Dove Creek. The Division of Wildlife has been contacted, and if you have small children and or pets, please be extra cautious right now. If you see or hear anything, please contact the Sheriff's Office. Their number is 970-677-2257. They say thank you and stay safe. And here's an image of the difference between a domestic dog print and a mountain lion. Notice that the 4 pads are mostly parallel with the mountain lion, and there are no claw prints. The main pad is also quite larger for both the front and back paws. And a reminder that school is back on in Dolores County. Be aware of school buses, of course. The elementary school issued a notice before the end of the year, and part of that reads, quote, "As we approach the second semester of the 2021 school year, there are a few things that parents need to know. First, we have a few position changes in the district. Stacy Hankins is now a full-time district administrative assistant instead of her previous half-time position at the district office. They advertised her elementary administrative assistant position in-house, as is district policy, and interviewed interested applicants and offered the job to Christine Kricheldorf, who accepted and will be in the office in the mornings, but will continue with her elementary enrichment class in the afternoon this semester. There have been a few other changes in the district that also reflect their building. Roxy Gines, who worked as the registrar at the high school, also moved to the district office, and her position has been filled by Jason Fury. This move created another position that needed to be filled, so Katie Gardner was moved from middle school science and elementary PE to high school science. For Katie's old position, we will hire a permanent substitute teacher to replace her as the middle school science and elementary PE teacher, and then we will be advertising to fill the middle school science and elementary PE position later this spring. They also write that next our plan is to continue in-person learning and keep our students in the classroom. This is where students learn best. If your son or daughter is quarantined, they will be expected to keep up with the schoolwork and utilize Google Classroom and or complete homework assignments as assigned by the classroom teacher. Please continue with the remote learning process if your child is quarantined, and we need to make sure students are ready to progress to the next grade at the end of the year, and utilizing remote learning during quarantine is essential for that progression. And finally, if for some reason, i.e. COVID concerns, you do not want your child to attend in-person learning, they will be offering only one online option. That's the CDLS. This is the same distance learning option that was offered in the first semester. CDLS courses begin on January 6th on Wednesday, and the deadline for enrollment into the CDLS courses is January 5th. The drop-dead deadline is the 13th. Please remember that after the drop-dead deadline of the 13th, students cannot come back to in-person learning until the fall of 2021. And please email Charlotte Forst by January 4th today if you're interested in this option. Again, the deadline for enrollment into CDLS courses is January 5th. Be safe out there, everyone. Keep your kids healthy and learning well. And to catch the program online and our program online and the links to information from our happenings and what happens in between, visit our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, or also online on YouTube, the same name. Both you can follow and subscribe to and easily join in on the conversation. Again, this is your local community TV station, so if you have something you would like to share, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com, or you can call and leave a message at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. If you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Be well and keep thinking.